My husband's ex sent him a love letter and my mother-in-law said, she was better for my son than you. So I showed them what I found in his phone. They started begging me to stay quiet. I never meant to snoop through my husband's things, but when the perfumed envelope fell from his jacket pocket as I was doing laundry, something in my gut told me this wasn't just another business card. My name is June, and until that moment, I thought I had the perfect marriage. Virgil and I had been together for 6 years, building what I believed was an unshakable foundation of trust and mutual respect. But there I stood in our laundry room, holding a pale pink envelope that smelled like jasmine and regret. Honey, have you seen my gray jacket? Virgil called from upstairs. I need it for the meeting tomorrow. My hands trembled as I stuffed the envelope into my pocket. Just putting it in the wash now, I replied, proud of how steady my voice sounded. Later that night, after Virgil had fallen asleep, I sat in our bathroom perched on the edge of the tub with the letter in my hands. The handwriting was elegant, feminine, nothing like the chicken scratch from his business associates. Dear V, it began. I know it's been years, but I can't stop thinking about what you said at the charity gala last month about regretting your choices about us. My stomach churned. Last month's gala, the one where Virgil had claimed he'd spent the entire evening networking with potential investors. The letter continued, each word feeling like a needle under my skin. Your mother always said we were perfect together. Maybe she was right. Maybe it's not too late. A soft knock at the bathroom door made me jump. June, everything okay in there? Virgil's voice was thick with sleep. I quickly folded the letter and tucked it into my robe pocket. Just feeling a bit queasy, I lied. Must have been the takeout. Do you need anything? The concern in his voice made this all worse somehow. How could he sound so caring while harboring such secrets? No, I'm fine. Go back to sleep. As I heard his footsteps retreat and the bed creak, I caught my reflection in the mirror. The woman staring back at me looked different somehow, harder, more suspicious. In that moment, I realized our marriage wasn't what needed fixing, it was beyond repair. What I needed was a plan. The next morning over coffee, Virgil kissed my forehead like nothing was wrong. Mother is coming for dinner tonight, he reminded me. She's been asking about grandchildren again. I forced a smile, thinking about his mother Eudora and her constant pressure about babies. Now her words in the letter made sense, perfect together. She'd always preferred his ex. The realization hit me like a slap. Actually, I said, stirring my coffee slowly, I'm not feeling well enough for company. Maybe we should reschedule. Virgil's face darkened slightly. Mother's already on her way, she's been planning this dinner all week. Of course she has, I muttered. What's that supposed to mean? I met his eyes across the kitchen island. Nothing, I just find it interesting how your mother always gets what she wants. He set his coffee cup down harder than necessary. June, what's going on with you? You tell me, V, I said, emphasizing his nickname from the letter. Anything you want to share about last month's gala? The color drained from his face, but before he could respond, my phone buzzed, a text from my sister Mari, emergency at work, need you ASAP. I grabbed my purse, grateful for the escape. I have to go, tell your mother I'm sorry about dinner. As I walked to my car, I could feel Virgil watching from the window. 6 years of marriage and it took one letter to make me question everything, but that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part was knowing this was just the beginning. Mari's emergency turned out to be exactly what I needed, an excuse to avoid the inevitable confrontation with Virgil and his mother. My sister's coffee shop was quiet when I arrived, just a few regulars scattered among the mismatched furniture. You look like hell, Mari said, sliding a steaming mug across the counter. Pale, I pulled the letter from my purse now wrinkled from my constant handling. Mari read it silently, her expression darkening with each line. That line piece of. It gets worse, I cut her off. Remember that charity gala last month? The one where Virgil was supposedly networking all night? The one where Eudora kept parading that skinny blonde around? Mari's eyes widened. Wait, was that his ex? Probably. I wrapped my hands around the warm mug trying to stop them from shaking. And apparently Mother Dearest still thinks they're perfect for each other. The bell above the door chimed. Speaking of the devil, Eudora Ashford swept in like she owned the place, her designer handbag swinging from her arm. Mari muttered something under her breath and disappeared into the back room. Juniper darling, Eudora's voice dripped with false sweetness. I thought you were ill. Just needed some fresh air. I straightened my spine, meeting her calculating gaze as she settled onto the stool next to me uninvited. Well, since we're both here, we might as well discuss the elephant in the room, the charity gala. The words slipped out before I could stop them. Something flickered across her face, surprise? Concern? But it was gone in an instant. I meant children, dear. Virgil isn't getting any younger and the Ashford name needs to be carried on. Maybe you should talk to the blonde from the gala about that. I immediately regretted the comment, but Eudora's perfectly composed mask cracked slightly. Catherine was always more amenable to family obligations. She examined her manicured nails. Such a shame things didn't work out between them, but then timing is everything, isn't it? The implications of her words hit me like a physical blow. Before I could respond, my phone buzzed with a text from Virgil. Where are you? We need to talk. Trouble in paradise? Eudora's smile didn't reach her eyes. Nothing I can't handle. I stood up gathering my things. Give my apologies to Virgil for dinner. I'm sure Catherine would be happy to take my place. Mari emerged from the back just as I reached the door. June, wait. But I was already outside gulping in the cool air. My phone buzzed again. Please come home, I can explain everything. I drove aimlessly for hours, eventually ending up at the park where Virgil had proposed. The memory felt tainted now, like everything else, as I sat on our favorite bench. Another text came through, this time from an unknown number. Hi June, it's Catherine, we should talk. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. Part of me wanted to ignore it, to pretend this wasn't happening, but a stronger part, the part that had been silently gathering evidence and connecting dots, knew this conversation was inevitable. Starbucks on 5th, 30 minutes, I replied. When I walked into the coffee shop, Catherine was already there. She looked exactly like she had at the gala, perfectly polished, the exact Eudora type of daughter-in-law, but up close, I could see the cracks in her facade too. I'm sorry about the letter, she said as I sat down. I never meant for you to find it. But you meant to write it. She fidgeted with her coffee cup. Eudora said things weren't working out between you and Virgil. She said he was miserable. Of course she did. Did? I laughed, but there was no humor in it. And you believed her? I believed what I wanted to believe. Catherine met my eyes, but after the gala, after seeing you two together, I realized Eudora wasn't telling the whole truth. She never does.